everyone, and welcome to the video. I'm Professor Amanda, and I am legend. That's right, for the first time ever, I made it to the top rank in Pokemon Go, GBL, and I'm very, very excited about it. And I made it in Ultra League, no less, which is something that I never thought would happen because I'm more of a Great League kind of gal. But I wanted to share with you the team that I use, and also I filmed my last 5 sets, so I figured we could go through it and kind of see how the gameplay went down. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So as you can see, I'm kind of using a modified Caleb Peng lineup. I started actually using his lineup of Machamp with Shadow Lapras and Shadow Snorlax as my safe swap. But as I climbed ranks, I realized a couple things about the opponents that I was playing. And that was if I faced another fighter, specifically a Toxicroak in the lead, it was a really hard struggle for me to overcome that matchup. And also things like Charm were really getting me, and even a Venusaur was causing my lineup a lot of problems. So near the end, when I was around 2900, I switched over to a Toxicroak lead. And I have the rank 1 Ultra Toxicroak, so I figured I might as well let him shine. So as you can see, this is the team that I was using. Toxicroak with the fast move of Counter, and then the charge moves of Mud Bomb and Sludge Bomb, and then a Shadow Lapras. And it's a legacy one with Ice Shard as a fast move, and I used an Elite TM to put Ice Beam on my Shadow. So it doesn't do as well, obviously, in the matchups where you're facing another Lapras, but it does come as a nice surprise for a lot of people because they're not expecting a Shadow to have Ice Beam, so sometimes they won't block their grass and it can really flip a matchup. And then the last one is Shadow Snorlax with Lick as a fast move, and then Body Slam and Superpower as their charge moves. And really, Shadow Snorlax, I think, is probably the best safe swap in Ultra League, because even if you swap it in and they counter swap to a fighter, you will be able to get to a Body Slam and at least pressure a shield before they can take you down. So let's jump into the matches. Just for reference, I started this last set when I was at the ELO range 2955, and this was my first matchup against a legend, already flexing out that pose. And so they lead a Charizard, so I immediately switch into Snorlax just because it's not a horrible matchup, but I would rather get an extra Lick or 2 energy advantage on the Snorlax and draw out their fighter, so I don't have to face it later when I have no other option. So I get kind of lucky here and they throw their Cross Chop. And I know they have another one stored up, but I don't really mind because it's not effective against the Toxicroak, and then I will be able to farm it down. So I farmed down the Machamp, and I'm assuming that the Charizard will come right back in. They're doing the smart thing of waiting out the switch clock. And so the Charizard comes in, so I charge up to a Sludge Bomb and I do a Mud Bomb bait, hoping to draw a shield because, as we all know, Sludge Bomb does really nice damage, and I immediately try to counter swap to the Lapras. Realizing I'm not going to get there, I just go ahead and let this Dragon Claw go through and then switch out to the Lapras, and they have a Venusaur in the back, which made me very happy that I didn't shield because I need both of these shields for the Frenzy Plants. So they fire off one Frenzy Plant, I'm charging up to 2 Surfs. I'm pretty sure that they will shield because they know that it's a positive matchup that Lapras has also against the Charizard, so I'm not going to waste on an Ice Beam. Plus, as you can see, the Ice Shard damage fast move is really already chunking down the Venusaur, so I'm not too concerned. So they fire off their second Frenzy Plant, and then they go down. And I will have enough energy to get to a Surf, and a Surf from a Shadow Lapras, which is already super effective against a Charizard, will be enough to take it out. So that is game number 1. Game number 2, up against another legend, getting that Toxicroak into a Venusaur. Again, I'm just going to immediately do the safe swap into Snorlax, and they counter swap into an Alolan Muck, which is fine by me. I think this is a rather neutral matchup for both of us. So I'm going to fire off these Body Slams. They don't shield, so I know that I will shield whatever they throw at me because having significant HP advantage on your Snorlax is never a bad thing. So there, even if it's a Dark Pulse, I don't mind. I shield it up, and luckily it's a Sludge Wave. And then just how fast a little bit of Muck generates energy. I knew that it would hit another one, but I'm okay at this point just looking it down and having a lot of energy for whatever they bring back in. So let's see, they're also waiting out the switch clock, and they bring back in the Venusaur, which is perfectly fine with me. It's going to eat a Body Slam. And I'm able to reach another as well. And at this point, I know that I will bring in the Toxicroak to absorb the charge moves that the Venusaur throws. And I actually switched out to my Toxicroak here because I was thinking I didn't want it to get the extra Vine Whip charges by just the fast moving down my Shadow Snorlax. So now I throw a Mud Bomb, but they did a really nice switch into a Charizard, which is a bummer for me because now I'm switch locked, so I have to throw the Sludge Bomb. But I'm pretty sure that they have to shield. So this is the play that I know, since they're charging up so much energy, they're going to throw a Blast Burn no matter what. So I let the switch timer go down, and my goal is to bring in the Lapras and then immediately counter switch to the Snorlax. And luckily, it worked out. So all of this energy is now wasted on a Snorlax. That would have gone down to a fast move, and I can already tell they're at another Blast Burn, but with that Venusaur in the back, I know that I have to save the shield for the Frenzy Plant. So Blast Burn still hurts the Lapras. They bring in that Venusaur. It's able to reach a charge move, but that's okay because I have already saved that shield, and I'm gonna throw a Surf. It's debatable if I should have charged up a little more first, but what I was thinking was I didn't know how close it would be, and the grass move still obviously hurts the Lapras, so I thought it would be risky to try to farm. The third game is another Charizard lead, so again, swapping immediately into that Snorlax, and they actually stay in, which leads me to believe that they're gonna Blast Burn me. Because Blast Burn is just such an OP move that it takes out nearly any Pokemon, so I figure I have to block here. So they throw the Blast Burn and then they dip into the Venusaur. I'm feeling in an okay position here because, like I said, the Toxicroak will absorb the charge moves from the Venusaur, and the Venusaur has to throw at least one Frenzy Plant to get the Snorlax out of the way. So they throw a Frenzy, and unfortunately I'm such low health from it that they're going to be able to fast move me down before I hit reach another Body Slam. And then I come in and just absorb this energy into my Toxicroak. So they're probably going to be able to reach another one before I reach Fine Move. Nope, never mind, I'm a liar. Toxicroak has one of the highest attack stats in the game, so if the moves are done at the same time, it will most likely win CMP. So I'm actually blocking this Frenzy Plant because I just need that Veno to be gone. And I didn't know what was in the back, so I wanted to save some energy on the Toxicroak. So switching in that Lapras gave me a couple of extra energy advantage. I take out the Charizard with the Surf, and then I see it's a Swampert in the back, which is not great, but not horrible. So I don't even bother trying to bait or bluff here. I just want to do as much damage as possible, and I figured they wouldn't block the Surf, which is true, and it still did a lot of damage. They threw an Earthquake, but I know that they need to throw another to knock out the Lapras. I throw another Surf. They have to block this if they want to survive, and because they do, I immediately switch into the Toxicroak just to get some damage off and to make them throw. So they had to throw to take out the Toxie, and then luckily I'm just able to Ice Shard down the Swampert because the Mud Shots do barely anything to the Lapras. Next game here we have an Abomasnow lead, which you love to see as a counter user. So they swap out immediately into a Kingdra, and I don't know if this was actually the correct call. Sometimes I swap in the Snorlax, but I've noticed sometimes that when they swap in the Kingdra, now it's because they have a Gallade in the back, and my Snorlax does better against the Gallade than the Lapras does. So here I charge up, they block an Ice Beam, but unless they want to go 2 shields down on the Kingdra, they will go down to this Ice Beam. They choose not to block, and instead we'll get some energy advantage on their next Pokemon, which is going to be that Abomasnow. And I never shield the Lapras when it comes to the Abomasnow because the Weather Balls do nothing, and if the energy ball takes me out like it does, then that's fine. Then I know that they've wasted their energy. So now they bring in a Waterfall Gyarados, which is an interesting move in Ultra League. It's really great in Master. And I suppose it's not bad here, but it just charges rather slow. So they're throwing a charge move here. I decided to block it up and I just got Aqua Tail baited, which is really annoying, but I decided at this point it's okay because they will either have to spend their last shield or they will, which they choose to do, and then I think I can survive this, and either way I'll be able to get some energy to throw a move on the last Pokemon. So yeah, barely survive, not enough to do anything, so I immediately swap out and Sludge Bomb the Abomasnow. Since it's a super effective move, it will take it out. So I'm actually really nervous at this point because I realized that I won 4 games in a row, and if I won this 5th game, I for sure would have enough elo to make it to Legend. So there was a lot of pressure riding on this situation for me, and I'm normally not good under pressure, so it's really interesting how this game turns out. So I'm facing another expert, and immediately when I come in, I see a Toxicroak into a Drifblim, which is a horrible matchup. So it's a switch to Snorlax, and they immediately counter swap me into a Shadow Machamp, which just hits this thing like a truck. Luckily for me, I threw a Body Slam and they blocked it, which led me to believe they really wanted to keep that Machamp healthy, so I decided to block mine Cross Chop because I would get off another Body Slam. So I'm able to reach the second Body Slam, and so now it's up to them whether they want to go 2 shields down, which they do. So very interesting. So now I'm at a point where I have to let the switch timer go down a little bit, but I have to bring in that Toxicroak because the Lapras would just get chunked. And now the goal of the Toxicroak is just to absorb all of this energy and try to counter down the Machamp, which is pretty dangerous because even though it's resisted, the Shadow Machamp is just so strong. So the Drifblim comes back in and I immediately swap into the Lapras, and as you can see, these Ice Shards are really helping my case here. I know that they're going to Shadow Ball me because that's the correct play. I mean, Ice Shard would do nothing, and they bring in that stupid Kingdra. So luckily I had a really nice energy advantage here, but I know they're going to reach an Outrage no matter what. But the goal is to double Ice Beam because the Surfs will do nothing, so it's not even worth. But wait, no, I do think that I do Surf it because I'm going to try to get a little bit of charge so I have another Surf ready by the time the Drifblim comes back in. And I don't know if, just good IVs because I barely survived that. And I didn't actually think I would, but I saw that the charge move was ready, so I immediately threw it, swapped into the Toxicroak with 1 HP left on the Lapras, throw a Sludge Bomb, it's not effective. And even look at that, there's barely any HP left on that Drifblim, but the counters do so little damage that they're able to get to an Icy Wind, knock me out, and then we tie. So my last set was really a 4x. So I didn't get any points taken away for losing, and I got enough points for winning that when I clicked to get my rewards, I saw that it put me over the edge to get Legend. So yeah, that was my legendary run. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I hadn't hit this high rank before, and I know that for some people, they're thinking that the season ran on too long or that it gets less special the more people that get up to the higher level, but I do still think that it takes a decent level of skill to get up there, so I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm not scoffing at my accomplishments either. And for those of you who aren't there yet, just some words of encouragement. Don't get too down on yourself if you have a bad day or two. As a lot of people know, I reached ELO 2995 and then went 1-4 and 0-5, and it knocked me down to the 2800s, and I was really very discouraged. But everyone has a bad day, and you just need to shake it off and don't play when you are having a bad run or if you're feeling negative, because it's only going to compound. So if you're having a bad set, take a breather, and also just remember, it's just a game. But it is a fun game, and I'm glad to share it with all of you guys, and good luck for the rest of you who are still on your journey, and hopefully you'll get there soon. Till the next one.